I want to share with you the most exciting thing that's happened in America since we landed on the moon. I'm talking about the advent of crowdfunding. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The World According to Frank. I want to share with you the most exciting thing that's happened since we landed on the moon, and that's the new jobs bill on crowdfunding. The Constitution guarantees us as American citizens the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the preamble of the Constitution says that it's set forth to secure the blessings of liberty to us, to ourselves, and our posterity. Most Americans don't know what the blessings of liberty are. According to my political science teacher, liberty is the right to engage in commerce and to profit from it. There's a part of doing business and making money that you're not allowed to know, according to the Securities and Exchange Act of 1933. And that is you're not allowed to offer stock for sale. And you're not allowed to publish that you're offering stock for sale. This is called solicitation. If you tell somebody that the stock might make 1,000 to 1 return, you will be indicted for fraud. Not because the stock won't make 1,000 to 1 return, but because the public's not allowed to know that it could. And the reason the public's not allowed to know that it could is the blue sky laws were made because the government didn't think that people were intelligent enough to understand the risks. So you're not allowed to talk about the return unless people can understand the risk. And since they're too stupid to understand the risk, you can't talk about it. And since you can't talk about it, nobody knows the potential, the nearly unlimited potential of small business. The fact that the sky is literally the limit for the profitability of some new small businesses. High risk, high return capitalism was outlawed on a state-by-state basis by a group of laws called the Blue Sky Laws. The Blue Sky Laws in Michigan state that only qualified investors can invest in certain high-risk types of new venture creation. For example, if you want to sell stock in a lawnmower business or a grocery store or a new haircutting salon, you have to be either a relative of the person starting the business, or you have to be a millionaire. Okay, the Michigan Blue Sky Laws say that you have to be a millionaire or an expert in the field to be a qualified investor. So basically, that outlaws capitalism for the poor. Well, the New Jobs Act changed that law, and we are now allowed to invest in our neighbors. This excites me. Why is it such a big deal? I mean, okay, let's say your next door neighbor wants to start a restaurant, and he goes around, passes out flyers and says, "I'm going to start a restaurant. Will you invest in my restaurant?" That used to be illegal. Okay, now you can invest in his restaurant. Let's say you put $2,000 in his restaurant, which is, by the new crowdfunding laws, that's the maximum that you can put in. Let's say you and him are both uneducated. He thinks there's no way his restaurant's going to fail, and you're not sophisticated enough to know that there's a 75% chance that restaurant won't make it. So you put in your $2,000, and other people put in theirs. That restaurant runs for a year and a half or so, shows no profit, and eventually collapses. Well, what that does for the local economy is amazing. It temporarily gives work to people. It temporarily creates a high demand for the hardware department, for the sales of meat and everything. It stimulates the local economy to 8 times as much as the money that the investors put in. And that's a failing business. It stimulates the economy like that. If you're a smart crowdfund investor, you'll pick and choose what you invest in, realizing that what you're really doing is investing, you're buying lottery tickets. The average income in America, according to George Bush, in his 2004 election campaign, the average income in America was $250,000 a year. But the median income is only $65,000 a year. And the difference is made up by those who know this secret. That is, that the CEO and the investment banker are allowed to invest in the early startup phase of a company. And in that early startup phase is where most of the money is earned. And unless you invest in the early startup phase, you don't make the money. And so basically the reason why you don't make over $250,000 a year is because you don't play the game. Until, April 5th of 2012, you weren't allowed to play that game. So this is exciting. Now you're allowed to play the game. But for you better understand risk versus return. The fact that a lot of these, an inventor comes up with a new way to, he's got an unlimited energy source that he invented, and here it is, all I need is the money to build it. Well, what is the risk of that? I mean, if it's a proven idea, the risk of that succeeding is 10 to 1 against. If it's a proven idea. If it's an invention that's not proven and he's trying to get money to do that, depends upon how technically savvy he is, whether he's going to be able to pull this off or not. Let's say you have confidence that he can pull it off. The risk now is on the order of 100 to 1 against. But if it succeeds, the returns are 1,000, 10,000 to 1 return. So that's like buying a lottery ticket in your favor. That's why the law limits you to only a certain amount of investment, is because it doesn't think you'll be able to do the calculations to say what's a good risk versus return on this. So, invest in crowdfunding, diversify, study well, pick your points, pick your businesses, invest in things that you know about, and with a very small amount of investment, you could retire quickly. 12 years. That's the potential of crowdfunding. One of the things this is going to do, I'm going to drone on here. One of the things this is going to do is innovation. 90% of innovation has been stifled in America because of lack of funding. I mean, people have ideas, great ideas, wonderful things, and they don't get made because of no funding. I know that there's a health food out there that lowers your risk of cancer that didn't get funding. I know that there's algae-based engine fuels that didn't get funding. And I know there's high-efficiency engines that didn't get funding. I know that there's medical breakthroughs and stuff that didn't get the money they needed to happen. So we're living in a poorer society because we didn't have this opportunity. Now, with this law, America is becoming the nation that we were always told it was. And that's exciting. Thank you for listening to my video.